Hey everyone, welcome back to the middle of nowhere, where we're going to do my monthly wrap up for the month of July. Alright, well, I didn't think it was that great of a reading month, but I kind of surprised myself. I ended up reading 10 books for the month of July, so we're going to go through what I read. I am a little bit curious. I'm going to go pretty quickly because it is a lot of books to get through, and even if I spend 2 minutes per book, that's over a 20-minute video, and I'm trying to make it so they're not quite as long, so you guys aren't spending all day watching my videos as much as I enjoy it. Please let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see like a mid-month wrap-up, just highlights of certain books. Let me know down in the comments down below, as well as giving me a like and subscribe, and as well as the regular YouTube yabber jabber. But let's jump into it. We're going to start off with Titanium Noir, which was my buddy read for the month. These are my digital audio reads, the books I don't have to hold up in front of my window, so you get the graphic instead. But I read Titanium Noir by Nick Harkaway, which was my first experience with this author, and it was really interesting. A lot of really entertaining. I had some science where they could take this medicine and that would like rejuvenate them, like make them younger, but it also made them bigger, and they became titans. They became stronger, more presence, and going on. But it's also kind of a murder mystery as well. And the detective doesn't use the supplements to become a titan, but he investigates the murders that involve the titans. And so it was really interesting to see, a lot of fun. The humor was really good as well throughout it. The snark from the main character made it really enjoyable. I did the audio, which was very entertaining as well. And overall, I gave this book 4 stars. The next book that I read, which I don't have physically, was Seeds of War by Joao F. Silva. This is a debut indie author and novel, first book in his series of the Smokesmiths, and it was very entertaining. It was a lot of fun to read, and especially with the smoke magic and the consequence that had to go through, and it was very entertaining, intriguing, really easy to read. There were times that the pacing kind of threw me off. I was a little bit lost as I didn't know, as we jumped between POVs, like the time frames. It felt sometimes we jumped a lot, sometimes just a minute or two, and so it just kind of threw me off a little bit, but not overly bad. And I really enjoyed at the beginning the main character of Orberesis, his POV, but then later on the character of Red Now became a highlight as well, as the story progressed and you got to see the intrigues and kind of where they were headed and how they ended up in the situations that they did. And so it was really well written, a very unique idea, and I look forward to see what else the author does with this series, as well as his works in the future. Overall, I gave Seeds of War 4 stars. The other not like digital copy that I have, I received an audio code for review from the author, and that is Down Below Beyond from T.A. Bruno. It came out on July 31st, so just a couple days ago at the time of recording, and I really enjoyed this sci-fi. T.A. Bruno is a master of sci-fi. He has the Songs of Kamaria series that is top-notch as well. I've only read the first one. I really enjoyed that book, and I still need to read books 2 and 3, but I look forward to when I get to him, especially as reading this one. He just blows it out of the water every time, as with his ideas with sci-fi, the portal jumping, the prospects. And I really enjoyed reading the main character right off the bat. I just wish we got more time with the side characters, is in the training and development and other aspects. I just really enjoyed it and wish I could have spent more time into it. And overall, this one also got 4 stars. All right, that is the digital reads that I read for last month, for sure. So let's get to some other books that I can hold up. So I received a review copy from Cassidy Failing of The Awakening Fire, which is also an SPF 09 entrant. I read a few of those this month. And this one was okay. I really liked the idea of the 3 different people all vying for the kingship and whatnot, but there was one aspect that I didn't really care for, of some torture that went on, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. That kind of pulled me out of the story, and I didn't enjoy it as much. Overall, really great ideas. Really liked the idea of the story, but there is a certain torture that is very prevalent through the majority of the book that really pulled me out of the story and kind of turned me off from it. And because of that, I ended up giving it 3 stars. I also finally got into a series that I'd been meaning to read for a little while, and I did the audio of it, but I read Kings of Paradise by Richard Nell. And this one has a lot of things I liked and a lot of things I didn't like as well. The overall story and the idea behind it was top notch. It was really entertaining, really interesting, especially as we jumped between the characters and seeing how it all kind of flows and their different storylines and whatnot going all together. But the author likes his intimate relations, that's what we'll say, and there was a lot, and it got overwhelming, and I didn't like it as much, and just didn't like some of the aspects because of that part of the storytelling. It's just not my style, and so it kind of pulled me out, and I got bogged down through the middle of the book for sure, where it just kind of became a jumbled mess, and I didn't care as much. The beginning I was really hooked into it. Middle I kind of slogged through, and then at the end it took off for me again. I was hooked with the story overall again. But overall I gave it 3.5 stars. So on Goodreads I rounded down to 3. This next book was a review copy from the author as well, from Stephen William Hanna of The First Rule. And I can tell you what, this one was a big surprise to me. It only focuses on a couple POVs through the entire novel. It's not super long. It's more of a mystery as well as a defense of a town, as she comes into her powers and who she is as a priestess, as she returns to the village where she grew up. And it is, to me, I think it was more like Stranger Things meets fantasy mystery, and I really, really enjoyed this story, actually, and the magic that it had into it. I did feel like the ending was a bit rushed with some of the developments that happened, because I wanted to know more or have more time in order to discover them. There were hints here and there about it, but I felt like you were focused on this one part of the story, and then it kind of has 2 things that kind of come in the end, and the ending was a little bit rushed, but still very, very enjoyable. It was a surprise for me. This is also an SPF 09 entrant, so you can follow its progress in a lot of the websites and see from there. But I think the cover is nothing amazing or something that will immediately grab your attention, but this is a book that everyone should at least look at and see if you'd be as surprised as I was of how good the story is. So hats off to Stephen William Hanna. It's a fantastic story, and I eagerly await to see where we go with The Blind Age. I got my thriller in for the month of July with Angel Maker by Alex North. I think it has a different title for Across the Pond in Great Britain. I don't know what it's called. I'll see if I can get the graphic and put it up here of what that version is. And I really like the idea of the story. It's of a serial killer that can see the future, and a sister and a brother that she feels like she has to protect him, and he's kind of a mess, and that she's not loved, and because of the brother, and how they all kind of intersect and go from there. It wasn't horrible, but I felt like it was kind of rushed. It's also not a very long book. I didn't feel like the Angel Maker really made an appearance, and it was supposed to be a lot more suspenseful, and I didn't feel any threat to the main characters as much as I was led by reading the blurb as would have happened. But overall, still enjoyed the story and gave it 3 stars. All right, coming up on the end, trying to get through them quickly, guys. I'm sorry, I apologize. The next one is also a review copy that I was given a while ago, but unfortunately my time and commitments and life got in the way, so I got bumped to this month. But I read Malitu #1, No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolan. And I know a lot of people have raved about this book, and it is a very entertaining story. It's kind of the same, not exactly like, but it's very similar to The First Binding or Name of the Wind as far as the character has progressed in life and is telling the story of their past and how they got to the certain way and why there's legends about them and why people hear about them all the time. Which I really enjoy that type of storytelling. I really enjoyed it in The First Binding, and The Name of the Wind #1 anyway was very good as well. But this one didn't hit me as well. I think it kind of hurt it to me because I really enjoyed those stories, and this one, it's well done. I do enjoy the story, but it wasn't as polished as some of those others, I guess. It's very interesting, very entertaining. My biggest complaint about it is that characters were introduced and then were gone within a matter of a few pages. So I never developed a connection other than to the one main character, and most of the side characters were just kind of confetti that were thrown, and then you see them land and you don't think about them again. And so I would have liked to have more time with some of those main characters and maybe slow the pace down a little bit. But the magic and the idea of the gods in this one is really well done, and I look forward to seeing where it goes in the future. Coming down to my final 2. Let's see if you guys can guess my book of the month. If you pause it and put down in the comments down below, we might be a reward, but you can't click ahead and see. I also read Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project #3, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, not the Secret Painter. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and I really enjoyed the story. It's more of a romance type of telling, but it was not too romancy. Like, it still has that fantasy element, and it doesn't seem as high stakes. Once again, it's sold from Hoyt's telling the story of Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, but you can see a lot more anime manga style influence through the story. But I enjoyed it. There's not very many Brandon Sanderson books I don't enjoy. It's still some really great storytelling, and really liked the ending as well. And overall, gave it 4.5 stars. And now to the book of the month. Once again, R.J. Barker has gone 3 for 3 as I finished up the Wounded Kingdom trilogy and read King of Assassins. It's not a happy story. I can say that right off the beginning, and I don't know how to not give a whole bunch of spoilers, but it is how an ending should be written. The way that he writes the characters and the progression, as we see Girton from The Apprentice in book 1 and the Mercenary in book 2, and now he is the Master Assassin in book 3, as it pulls all those little things that have been planted, the relationships, especially the mother-son relationship through the whole trilogy. It is just it is a work of art, and I really enjoyed my time reading the Wounded Kingdom trilogy, and highly recommend it. If you're looking for an assassin story where they're not all powerful assassins, but they're still masterful assassins. This is the one for you, as well as the reasons that they do it as they become more protectors. And so they assassinate to protect. And the fight scenes are top notch. The battles, the magic, the world. R.J. Barker is a phenomenal author. That's all I can say. I don't want to spoil any more of it. This is my 5-star read for the month, my book of the month. The trilogy, all of them were my books of the month for the past 3 months. And we'll see if he continues to maintain that top-notch status as we continue on with the Bone Ships through the next few months. But anyway, that's what I read through the month of July. What were some of your favorite reads? What did you guys read? Did you have a book of the month? Anyway, love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, happy reading and stay great.